What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I did have to make a video about the Ubisoft Forward reveal of the Crew Motorfest Chase Squad, which I have to say right off the bat does look pretty dang interesting. But here's a few things I really did want to touch on. Also, I'm going to be reading off of some of the things on the actual website and give my thoughts on some of that stuff. So we obviously all do know that the thing is basically going to be based on a takedown and chase thing similar to something like the Crew 2 chase update. At least I would like to think it's not going to be the same thing. I would say it's probably going to be similar. Hopefully they're not going to like completely copy the Crew 2's like takedown update or something, but I would say right now, funny thing is I did actually think it was something like Need for Speed Unbound when watching it. I'm also going to be slightly confused on the fact that they are allowing like speed or like I guess you could say high police chases in the game to where we also have Toyota, so I'm guessing you can't get any of the police stuff on the Toyotas or how is any of that going to work? But I do like the fact that they actually showed the Dark Horse was pretty dope, and I do believe that's the Azus, whatever it's called, which is the other car in there. Now, when looking at this trailer, though, it does actually give me some of the vibes from the takedown mode in the Crew 2. The reason for that is you'd basically start off, you see some racers in there. You'd obviously have to chase them, destroy their car, and basically take down like 8, 10, or 12 or something. So I'm wondering if they're going to follow that all the way just like that. I mean, they could end up throwing like a crazy twist on it to where you can be like a police officer, which I'm guessing you most likely will play as like a cop car and go after the racers, take them down. There's most likely going to be a few of them in the event, or maybe they might throw a twist on it to where it's going to be like hot pursuit, and you follow like one car around, they have a bigger health bar, you crash into them. That would actually be kind of dope. Now, here's another thing I did want to talk about in this, though. Now, I am going to be going off the website, guys. I can show some screenshots and stuff like that, but this does say right here, the Chase Squad update will be joining Motorfest in November as a premium PvE content. So keep in mind, this is not going to be PvP. It's basically going to be a PvE focused thing, which honestly I can't really get mad at. Like having something like that as a PvP game mode would most likely be pretty dang insane to do that. But then again, imagine having a chase type of thing and also being like takedowns and stuff like that. That would be really fun, man. But then again, we also have certain licenses in the game that most likely may stop that from happening. That's also why I'm kind of surprised they managed to get the chasing squad thing in there because we have Toyota and stuff. So is that going to mess up something like Lexus joining in the future? Hopefully not, because I still want an LFA, bro. So I am definitely interested to see how they do end up doing this. Now, looking at the article here, it does say, get ready to join the squad and engage in exhilarating contests of speed and impacts that will light up the roads of Hawaii. Hunt, outmaneuver, and take down street racers in ruthless face-offs all over Motorfest Island. So this to me kind of sounds like it's not going to be focused on a takedown thing like the Crew 2, but maybe there's going to be things to where there might actually be interceptor type of things, or there's going to be a few racers that race around the entire map. Let's say there's like 8 of them. You're then going to be the person in the police car. You have to destroy all of them in that race. That would actually be pretty dope if they took that approach instead of only taking down like 10 or 12 things and then you beat it and then make money. I would actually rather have like 8 racers in there, you chase them down, you bust them all, or you crash into all of them, and then you actually become the takedown legend, quote unquote. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I would say that would probably. After that, though, it does say, from slick speedsters to powerful road conquerors, master the new chase fleet, embark your dominance on the roads. So I really am wondering how they're actually going to do it, but what I did say before kind of makes a lot of sense to me, man. Like, I feel like they should take a different approach to it. And the reason I do say that, though, is let's be honest right now, guys. If they did actually end up copying the entire takedown system from the Crew 2's update, I would almost guess that would most likely not go very well with the entire player base. I mean, a lot of people are looking for like a new experience and something to enjoy the game with, and doing it to the fact of like races or interceptor type of things, to where you actually have to bust each racer. Maybe they have a bigger health bar. That thing I actually would say would be a lot more fun to do than like taking down 12 racers, making some money, then redoing it. Like that was a fun update in the Crew 2, don't get me wrong, but the issue was going to be the repetitiveness of it. That is something they definitely have to work on because everybody wants more endgame, bro, including me. Like, imagine having something tied to endgame with those game modes. That would be dope. Could it be in summits? Could it be like a different game mode? Who knows? Time is going to tell. The other thing I did want to talk about is probably going to be fairly obvious. We are obviously getting a new island. Am I insanely happy for it? Yes, this was definitely needed. Everybody wants it. Maui is coming into the game. On the website right here, though, it does say something now. I would like to know your thoughts in the comments below about this. It says Maui will be adding a whopping 345 kilometers of total road network to the game. And if you are like me, though, this is going to be a total of 214 miles of the entire map that's going to be added. We're also then going to be getting 229 kilometers of asphalt, which is 142 miles, 190 kilometers of off-road areas, which is 118 miles. To be honest, guys, I'm actually really excited for this. By the way, the 190 kilometers is not regular off-road areas, it's legit dirt roads. I'm not going to lie right now, this excites me so much because that was a pretty big complaint of mine on the game itself. I really do love off-roading. I'm actually into trucks and stuff like that. I love rally cars, dirt bikes, and basically anything can go off-road. I love it. So being able to drive around in rally cross vehicles and stuff like that in a way bigger area of terrain, 118 miles is a lot, guys. Like, that is a good amount of space to race around in. I honestly cannot wait, and I do hope they actually add a ton of events over there. That way we actually have new events to do and a bunch of new places to explore on top of it, and we can actually finally do some events everybody has been asking for. Now, there is one more thing I did want to talk about and mention in this video. That is going to come down to the fact that, yes, guys, I am excited. I would say many people are most likely excited for Maui. At this point, I would almost guarantee everybody was most likely expecting some type of map DLC. Like, at this point, though, can't we all agree, though, that we most likely had to get some type of map expansion, and it looks like they did end up doing it. Now, the thing I did want to talk about with this is obviously, yes, I am excited. Here's one of my only concerns, though, which I would say a lot of people are most likely going to agree with. We're obviously getting a new map. We're going to be getting a few new game modes by the looks of it, which is the Chase Squad. We're also then going to most likely be getting new grand races on the new map itself. But here's the thing, though. Are they then going to be adding a lot more PvP game modes on top of this update? Now, I do want to say this right now because we are most likely going to see something in September for the next reveal of it. But let's be honest here, though, guys. More PvP game modes is something that everybody wants. Being able to pick your own class and stuff is something they definitely should do. For example, right now, if they release a massive new map with some dope stuff in it, and they only release grand races on the new map, can you guys imagine that for a second? A lot of people most likely want more endgame stuff, or as Sid Waj even mentioned, some fundamentals of the game have to be fixed and also addressed. The first thing I did want to mention that's part of that, though, is going to be the summits. I think we can all agree at this point that everybody most likely wants the summits to have some type of change to them. Whether they're going to have like an overhaul with the events or the skills and stuff like that, something with like the scoring or like the vehicles you can use in the skills, like something has to be changed there. On top of that, we can also say yes, PvP obviously needs some things in it. Probably besides just grand races would most likely be wonderful. The only other concern I have besides that is going to be the playlist design. Now, I do know a lot of players most likely enjoy the playlist. Don't get me wrong, they are fun, but here's the issue with them. Once you actually complete the playlist and you're done with all of them, is there really a big reason to come back and do them? I do feel like a lot of players most likely love Motorfest, including myself. Like, I want this game to be good, man. So what is something they can do to fix the replayability issue with it? Which, by the way, I actually have a video coming on that here soon. The thing about this, though, is the playlists are fun for a bit once you do them. You do all the challenges of them, you have a great time, and then boom, you pretty much don't have anything dragging you back into that playlist. This is also why a lot of people would like a difference or like changes with the actual endgame, which is going to be the summits, grand races, and demolition royale. A lot of players are like, yo, add so I can actually use all my vehicles in grand races, or at least, you know, have PvP modes to where I can race something with just like a rally raid or rally cross. Do something with the summits so they're going to be a bit more rewarding. I think we can all agree that not everybody wants to log on weekly for a nitro. And who knows, maybe design it like how it was in the Crew 2 in a way to each event you actually complete, you get like money, parts. Now, I do know you actually get parts and stuff from completing like a certain amount of events in the summit, but actually give every single event in the summit some reason to make you do it even more. Maybe they can give you like 50,000 for one event, then maybe give you like 50,000 XP, or an easier way would probably be like at least 100,000 for one level, or maybe 200,000. I might be pushing it a bit, but it would give people an incentive to actually jump on and go, oh look, I can get some gold parts here, which I could keep those gold parts if I actually need them. Like maybe I'm missing another part for like a chemist set or like a loot digger, or you can actually delete them and get spare parts to get better fixes for different builds. I just feel like, man, there are so many different things they can actually do with this. I do know probably one of the number one things right now everybody is wanting to know, including myself, is what are they going to be doing with the PvP part of the game. We all do know right now, again, there is going to be something in September, which, you know, fingers crossed they're actually going to be going like, okay guys, We have a new map, and guess this, we have an entirely new PvP game mode that's whether it's ranked or you can pick every vehicle of your choice again with any classes and you can race in that aspect. I feel like something like that has to happen, man. Like, don't get me wrong, the new map and all, like, the new off-road areas are sweet, or, having, like, an entirely new, like, asphalt area to race around in. It's awesome. I'm also very interested to see how they end up doing the Chase Squad update. But the biggest thing, though, is everybody still wants more endgame and better things to actually do after they do it all. Like, for example, guys, once you actually do the new playlist in the update, what are you going to do after that if they just end up adding a grand race part on the new map? Now, the thing about that, though, is if they were to add grand races, there's probably going to be a lot of new events on the new part of the map. Now, this obviously could be a bunch of new events, though, which is going to equal something new in a Grand Race or like a PvP setting. But if it's just going to be another version of a Grand Race on the other part of the map, I feel like people are going to go, bruh, are y'all even listening to us, man? Like, we just want to use different classes in the events. Give us a few more rewards and actually make PvP fun or even very rewardable. Like, for example, add a ranked game mode in there would be really cool, like the Crew 1 or the Crew 2 had it. That would be so fun, man. Now, there is one more thing I did want to mention right now. Let me know your thoughts on this. In year 2, Motorfest will continue to grow with more seasons, cars, and playlists. Here's the thing I like about that and don't like. We all obviously want more updates and obviously new cars, but the one thing, guys, I have to say right now, though, is adding more playlists to the game. Is that a good idea? Now, I do know the entire game is obviously, like, designed around playlists, so they kind of have to do that. But do y'all think they should actually change around the way the playlists actually work? As I did mention in an old video, why not make it so you can actually reset all the challenges in it, or at least give a player a bigger reason to go back into the actual playlist? I just feel like, yes, they are cool, like to give you like an animation, like a linear story type of thing. You also get like a special vehicle from it with some vanities and sometimes like an audio thing like that, but like give us more of a reason to go back into the playlist after they're done. This is going to be the entire like endgame part of Motorfest that everybody wants, man. And the other thing, though, is on top of that, though, everybody probably wants more endgame for another big factor. They all most likely want to go, you know what, I want to jump on Motorfest today, man. And they probably don't want to get on just Wednesday to do the summit, collect some rewards, and then most likely go play something else until the following week. I just feel like, guys, that's one of the biggest fundamental things in Motorfest that has to be addressed. That is going to be the endgame part of it, whether, as I mentioned, the summit, PvP, maybe do something with Demolition Royale, add a new game mode into the entire game with like having the Chase Squad thing on it. I do know that's going to be PvE focused, but still, they can probably add something on that to where that could be something in the summits, or that could be something on like a separate summit. Not sure where I'm honestly going with this, but I would say most players are going to go, no, Block, we get it, bro. Like, it does make sense. This would actually help the game so much. And again, I'm so dang excited to actually play on Maui. I love they are actually adding a new map. But I do feel like deep down they most likely did not have a choice on this. One thing I personally can't wait for, though, is to go off-roading on the new map. And I do feel like the new Chase Squad thing is going to be pretty dope. Also, does anybody else think it does kind of look like Need for Speed Unbound, or am I tripping? I do feel like to a certain extent I was getting some Unbound vibes from that, bro, with like the, I guess, effects and stuff like that, the way the cars looked. I'm not complaining because I would say it would be a pretty interesting change into Motorfest. But the question is, can it be executed properly? Do let me know what you guys think about the new Season 5 update coming out in a Motorfest with the map expansion, and also the new Chase Squad that's also coming out with it. And if you guys are wondering, the initial release for this is in November, which from right now is about 4 months or so. We obviously have Test Drive coming out in September, so we can probably play that game for a few months before the Season 5 update comes. After that, I was seeing around 3 to 4 months per update, which is kind of average at the moment. The thing is, though, are they going to add enough content to keep everybody engaged?